Alright, this is James here. This is going to build a little tank. So I'm kind of had sitting out in the shed that I hadn't used for a while. Not really cleaning it up much. Because it's for me. And anyway, also kind of broke. Anyway, just using some leftover stuff that I kind of have laying around the shed. This here. This is my favorite fucking rock piece. I do not know what kind of foam this is. It's gray, really dense, hard, and it's, anyway, a buddy gave it to me out of his aquarium. And this is definitely, I'd say there's a good chance of it being made from cast. Someone probably cast this whole thing. Anyway, it's gonna go in here, in this old tank like this right here. If you can forgive my Blair Witch Project cinematography here. At the top, I'm going to have like a little tube just dripping water down. No real waterfall in this one. Fill in them areas on the side with the foam. And probably, got a broken rib, so I can't sneeze. Just got to wait for it to pass. Anyway, putting this in here like this, get a foam around it. Not sure exactly what I'm doing on the side. I'm thinking like little smooth pebbles like you'd find in a creek. This whole thing just broke in half a few years back, so I'm probably going to cut this other piece of it and cut off the bottom, and it'll probably look about like that there, minus some of it. And I'll break the sides up, put a little dirt on, make the foam look like dirt, or pebbles on the side, I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the beginning of a build that we're gonna do here. And I'll put this all together and paste it to YouTube. All right, so what I've done is I had to break that in two. You can see right there, that old thing had a bow in it. So whenever I went to flatten it out on the floor to see how easy it would, pop up or, adhere to the glass, it had a bow. So I broke it. So anyway, what I've done, silicone that one part in there. The bottom, some of it's touching, some of it ain't. And then the top piece I siliconed in there, and then, made a cool little bridge like Gandalf had to cross on. Anyway, that'll come out. And it'll probably form the basis of, say, like a ledge. Whenever I put that down there in. And then eventually I'll probably, not sure, might use this old pipe noodle for keeping your pipes warm in the wintertime. Might, move that across the background there in order to make it look like a vine or a root going across the background. As well, I got pulled this out of an old tank. Been sitting in there molding and mossing up for a few years, about 5 years. This is Chinese azalea. It's held up all right. It ain't ghost wood, but it'll do. And, depending on what this tank looks like, I may just tear it down. Again, this here's ghost wood. It's a desert wood. I'm not sure what kind. They say it has a 20-year lifespan on it. Anyway, this is just some stuff I pulled out of a couple other tanks I had just sitting there. I'm probably gonna get rid of. And anyway, on to the next step. All right, what I'm done here. These are just some little old scraps. Like, I am out of everything. I haven't built tanks in a couple years. Anyway, what I've done is I like to silicone these to the back. I did in this because I wasn't foaming on it. But anywhere I want the expanding great stuff foam to be, I'm going to want to put stuff like this. Just because that foam is going to fill in between them little bitty squares. And it's going to make it easier for it to stick to the glass. Or stick. because, you know, I found that foam doesn't really stick to that glass all that great. And that's just, you know, enough to see what the hell else I got down here. These are just little scraps I'm putting up in here from breaking out this false bottom. So anyway, whenever I foam in, not sure whether I'm going to put the wood or what, or if I'm going to go get the tile cutter out and cut small, smooth, round river stones and kind of, you know, stack them and jumble them up in there, make it look kind of like it does, you know, river wash. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but whatever this is, you know, the rock's going to be protruding, you know, through the looser substrate, you know, is what I'm trying to depict here, what would be happening in the wild. All right, here what I've done is took this old shit right here and took my heat gun, and I had to kind of, I couldn't film it because I needed two hands, and anyway I kind of had to heat it up with the soft gun a little while it's in place, burn fingertips a little bit, and then, you know, kind of get it a rough shape, because it will kind of hold that shape vaguely, and then go in, put it back in, caulk it in, and then, you know, prop them up, or, you know, kind of stab and jab it in there until it's stuck. Because yeah, I mean, no matter what, no matter what, it ain't gonna stick. You gotta kind of prop and, you know, gotta, I guess, force this stuff into place. The caulking on the back should hold it. We'll see how it holds up tomorrow, and you know, pull it off and, you know, caulk it where it needs to be, prop it back up, and then we'll probably, you know, start on this floor here. I don't know, I may jack around with that tonight, but whatever I do, I will film it. So anyway, that's kind of just, you know, and then I'll take like maybe this little piece here and make it, you know, kind of cut this end or this end, whatever, to where it looks like it, you know, kind of blends flawlessly into that, or as close to flawless as I can get it, or feel like getting it. Because no matter what, moss and plants and roots and shit are going to grow all over this. But that's kind of what it looks like. Let's see if I can get it. If I don't break the dang tank. Alright, here we are. Next day. Got them all propped up in there. Oh shit. We're gonna see how this whole thing's stuck. And there it is. Hope I got that. It's stuck. Now, I'm gonna take this other piece and put it on there. Alright, I'm making river stone. You can see down there. Just got some random pieces of styrofoam because I kind of saved it from shipping and stuff. Excuse my shed. It's just kind of a catch-all, and I do shit like this out here, so the old lady don't get in my ass by making a mess in the house. So this is my mess out here. Anyway, I'm just taking one of these old sanding blocks, get from Home Depot. If you can find one with 2 different sanding grits, that'd probably be even better. This is just one I happen to have from doing a little carpentry. And see, I just kind of sand the edges, get different thicknesses, make it different thicknesses and contours. And then whenever I'm done, I'll paint these up with the Drylok, or seal them with the Drylok, and then, you know, add my color to them. Sometimes I'll cut the pieces down real thin, and anyway, because I like a little bit of it's all random in nature. Sometimes I leave some of the dents and stuff in them, because that's shit that would happen in nature. Edges ain't all, you know, rounded smooth, because, you know, maybe that rock that fell off that cliff down that waterfall broke 100 years ago and just, you know, barely sandblasted or water blasted. Anyway, I just kind of go through and round the edges like this. And I use both the old white bead styrofoam and this stuff from Home Depot. This is just scraps that end up, you know, being saved up. This stuff kind of breaks about like, you know, rock. If you can break this by hand, I mean, it adds up. I love this stuff. And I try to, like I said, I try to make it random sizes, because I see a lot of people building tanks and they use the same size rock, and it just looks so freaking man-made when they make a waterfall out of rocks that are all perfectly, you know, 3/4 of an inch thick. Because in nature, waterfalls are not like that. Rocks are not like that unless man has had something to do with it. And since I think we're all making our tanks, trying to make them look, you know, like nature's in there, not man, I just suggest, you know, taking a hot knife and filleting it down, you know. Some of this has just been sitting out here in the shed, getting stepped on and shit set on top of it, so it's kind of got a concrete pattern, you know, etched into the bottom. The dry lock should take most of that out. But it doesn't matter if it doesn't, because it'll just look like a rock that's been in nature. And dry lock has that old sand grit in it. And as well, I think in Europe they have some stuff called G4. And yeah, sometimes I'll sand one end as opposed to the other, make one end thinner. Probably should be wearing some kind of dust mask or something for this project. But anyway, there, you know, if you found that in a river just like that, you'd be like, oh look, a pink stone. I'm hoping. Take this stuff, it puts a little more, it kind of chunks up at first. This is just stuff I save from packages coming in, or if I see someone's throwing it away. Take it up. I got a whole wall. I'm trying to actually insulate my shed here, so I can put a little AC in here for summertime, because it's murder in here. Really. This here, I like it because you can bend it. I've got this stuff here where it's like, I think I've got like some 4-inch thick blocks up here in the wall, probably, yeah, thicker. So if I want to make a boulder, I just come out here, step on it, you know, put a little pressure to one side and just break it off and use that random chunk. But anyway, there's my stone, you know. Old Indian would probably use that for a tomahawk later. Alright, here I am. After my little stone making, took this egg crate out because it's gonna, you know, leak water to the bottom, and I put this foam in here, kind of cut it to that shape, to the shape of this. I'll probably have to cut some more off, but anyway, these are the stones I made. Now, you know, guess painting will be next. Probably a little more placing. I'll probably put some more up here, some more in here, falling down into here, just to make it look kind of like the side of a conglomerate riverbank, where some of the stones have washed into the, you know, the water. It would have washed stones out of the creek bed and bank into the main channel. But that's what it is. I just take them, I made my stones, and then I'd take this and I'd either take a hot knife and cut off a corner and, you know, place them where I need it or break them in half. But down here I'll have whole stones. Anyway, that's, see you in the next segment. Alright, well, here's a little progress. What I've done was I took my rocks that I kind of sanded down, got round edges, different thicknesses, and that's what I've done. I just kind of cut them in half or quartered them or, you know, just cut pieces off of them as I needed, stacked them in there kind of random, no real pattern, and I'm gotta kind of try and figure out something to go in between all of them that I'm thinking maybe Gorilla Glue, that I can put a sand and gravel mix to, you know, fill it in between them, hide this back here. And I'm gonna end up taking this all the way down into the corners here and maybe even make my pump housing look like a rock. That'll be just down there, just a big boulder. Anyway, little progress. Yeah, just taking, breaking them in half, or if they're too thin, or just, you know, if they don't want to break, I use a hot knife. Anyway, that's a little progress. All right, so my River Rock side, well, River Rock kind of tank here I'm going with. That shit. Got to turn on its side to kind of get those to stick down. Well, in an effort to, you know, kind of concrete them in place, kind of get the sand and gravel and a little bit of peat in between each stone. Last night I attempted to take Drylok, mix a little extra sand in with it, make it a little thicker, and then try to get it down in between the stones. Didn't really have an idea what to use to get it down in there, so I tried to spoon it in. Kind of a bad idea, but not a mess I can't clean up. It's going to cover with moss anyway. So this morning, or last night, I sat there and thought about it for a while, because that's, you know, the way my fucking dumb brain works. Cajun injector. Just cut the tip off. I'm going to try this. I don't know how it's going to work. Hopefully it works a little better. You know, probably spoon it into this and then squeeze it in between the stones, get a little bit neater application. And then, you know, I'll pour the sand on top of it and let it sit overnight or for a couple days, because this Drylok here, of course, I was down here like last night at like midnight doing this, so it's only had a few hours to set up, and it hadn't really set up. So hopefully that Drylok will set up and help some of them stones stay in place, because they didn't realize some of them, you know, the silicone worked fine. I can turn it on its side and it definitely, everything stays in place, but like whenever I put the old shop vac to it to suck out the excess sand, some of the stones, you know, little fake stones popped off or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna stone up this other side here hopefully and see how this Cajun injector idea works. I'll probably do it here on, you know, the remaining side here. I still got a little left in the fridge. In order to get my Drylok to stay good overnight, I'll just put a little water on top of it and, you know, mix it in the next day. Anyway, see you in the next segment here. All right, well, Cajun injector didn't work. Even tried cutting the needle off, or the little thing that the needle screws into. Didn't work. Everything stayed in place. Probably just a matter of everything given time to dry, and then I'll have to kind of rub some of this sand off, see what the hell's going. If not, it'll paint up. It'll look good. Moss is going to cover it. Yeah, so maybe one of them icing things would work, but I do not have one. So, I guess I'm just going to try and spoon it in. Continue spooning it in. And maybe one day I'll come up with a good alternative.